Am I being seen? Oh, it's hot. So hot. Boiling. Um, oh, that doesn't sound very pleasant. Sorry, guys. There's only a few people here. Would love more people to come in. I know it's kind of late. Welcome, welcome, you guys. This is a circle, and I'm not happy about that. I don't understand. Am I being seen? Oh, it's hot. So hot. Boiling. Um, Edit. Oh, that doesn't sound very pleasant. Sorry, guys. There's only a few people here. Would love more people to come in. Hi, guys. Is anyone out there? You can press like comment or something. Welcome, hey. Stop screen. Why am I a circle? I want to be a full screen baddie and video file. No. Sorry, you guys. You know, I'm still getting the hang of all of this. Says the network is unstable. I'm getting the hang of all this. What's it called? Streaming stuff. Hi, guys. Is anyone out there? You can press comment or something. Thank you. This isn't fair, and I'm just. What do you do? Stop screen. Why am I a circle? I want to be crying out loud. And video file. Hi everyone. You know what? There's only two people here. Is what it is. Because the network is unstable. I'm getting a hang of all getting feedback as well. Oh yes, I've just turned off the sound. Thank you for telling me that, Lolo. 11 people have stepped in. You guys, what's up? Hi, good evening. Happy Saturday. I'm boiling right now. I know it's quite late, but I actually don't want to do, I want to catch yes, it stopped. Thank you so much, Lolo. I'm trying to catch my international kind of audience, you know, the girlies in America. I don't know why this is a circle. I hate it. I feel like you're not seeing me if it's a circle. I know you can see me, but it should be a square, at least for me to just start. I'll feel comfortable with starting if it's not a circle. And this is annoying me very much so. Anyway, how's everyone doing? How's your Saturday been? Please do feel free to, you know, comment in the chat and stuff. As always, it's a latte. And yes, it is a coffee at this time of the night. I'm doing an all-nighter because there's quite a lot that I need to do this evening. I actually have been sleeping for the majority of the day. Not sleeping, that is a lie. But I did an all-nighter last night. So that only means that I'm going to be all up all night tonight. It is what it is. I really need to just... Okay, what I'm going to do is do a new screen. So share screen or video, extra camera. I'll get rid of this one. I'm back. This is frustrating because I don't like the fact that I'm in a circle right now. It's really bothering me. Anyway, AJ, wow, why? Why is this doing this to me? I'm so irritated. Very. I guess I'm going to have to leave it as that. Right. Good evening, guys. It's Saturday night. Ask AI. Good question. Let me get out the good old chat GPT. I had so much planned to talk about, and we're already almost 10 minutes in. I've only got a few people here. It would be nice to have some more people. I don't know if people are getting notifications for my my lives and stuff, or my content, because usually at this time I would have definitely had so much more. But anyway, a lot of people is going to get the playback. Mute. I'm going to mute for a hot second, okay, you guys? There's not much people here anyway, so we should be okay. I did it! I did it! Yay! Can we proceed now? The one thing about me is, if it's not how I envision it, I'm not going to move to the next step. I'm just not going to be able to focus. But thank you so much for coming, everybody. Welcome in today. Welcome in tonight. It's Saturday. Wow. I've got a very interesting. I don't know if you're somebody who's into, like, I don't know if it's either numerology or whatever, but I've got 222211 right on my, and then I've got 11 people watching as well. That's what's the time and the date today. Interesting. I get, excited about those type of things. Anyway, so you guys, I wanted to talk about us. Okay. Tonight is the night for the girlies. Thank you so much for the compliments on my hair and makeup. This is a wig that I've had for a little while. And I did put her in some pin curls yesterday, and I had her sitting. Hey, Andrea. Hey, welcome. It's Friday. Where are you? Where are you? Because, wait, it's today. Today's Saturday. Where are you? 'Cause I'm like, wait, am I in the wrong day of the week? Where are you, Caribbean girl? You're in the Caribbean. Must be nice. Yeah. There's not much of us today. This is like my first official kind of live. And so, oh, Amsterdam. It's Friday in Amsterdam. I thought Amsterdam's like around the corner. That's interesting. That's really interesting. And it's Friday. Of course, it's Saturday in London. It's Saturday night. So, what is the time in Amsterdam? I'm very curious now. I thought Amsterdam's like around the corner, like an hour away from us. Because you can get a train from King's Cross, right? I know I'm not lying about that. Anyway, girlies, okay, so this video today, or this live, I've kind of given her a name, and I want to bring her back to the screen. I'm saying her, and I don't know why. She's wide awake. Okay. It's 11:13. Okay. You're a few hours. Well, it looks like you're almost like a whole day behind us. That's really interesting. Are you sure it's Friday? It's Saturday, hun. Today's Saturday. And Amsterdam is towards that way of the world. So it's Saturday. Anywho. So yes, she's wide awake. Okay. And I'm excited to do this particular um are we saying topic, conversation, discussion? It's kind of just where I'm at right now. You know, a lot of the girlies are here actually, just being at a space where, you know, feeling empowered, feeling like I'm ready to get going and get, you know, just it's a time of elevation for a lot of people. And I would say that this is an awakening. Okay. So this is like the awakening of women. Super important because in these times, especially post-pandemic times, I feel like we're still very much feeling the real repercussions of the global, you know, COVID-19 pandemic in this time. And that being said, um, morning from Melbourne. Of course, yeah, I know it's morning in Melbourne. Thank you, Australia. Um, yeah, sorry, I'll get back to this. I might not turn off the chat, but I might just move it away for a bit because I obviously what I tend to do is I look into it and I might just rail off, and we don't want to do that. I know it is a live, so anyway, so let us get into it, like for real. I don't want to hold you up too long. I probably would love to be here for about an hour or so before I move into the other stuff that I'm doing this evening, which is more content for you guys. But as I said, the awakening of women. And I would really love for a lot of us to be awakened. I think it's very, very important that none of us are sleeping right now. A lot of us need to be paying attention what is happening globally, so that we don't miss opportunities. And also, we just don't welcome in things that are not supposed to be in our life and present. It can really just really energetically affect you and your mood, your consciousness, your vibe, your presence. Ladies, it's time to wake up. And even if you see like my, would I call it a banner for today's live today, and definitely the thumbnail, I put on some powerful ladies on there. Okay, we've got the Adele. Adele, I put her on here specifically because she is a woman who has transformed. She's a great example of a transformation queen, and she's so relatable. If you ever see her in an interview, or you know, even when she's like picking up an award, she's just always been so gracefully herself. Yet she is. I've actually got a video of her coming. I've actually filmed it. It will be going up next week, hopefully. Her transformation for me as well was quite significant because of the weight loss. And then that also was around the period of her divorce as well. So after her divorce, then she had the weight loss. And you guys know that's of course something that happened to me. So I really do take example from her quite a lot. And I appreciate her. Then we have the lovely Michelle Obama. I'm pointing to here, but it's looking like never mind. To me, it's on the right. Maybe to you guys, it's on the left. But Michelle Obama, of course, no explanation needed. To be the first Black First Lady of the United States of America is absolutely, obviously, is history. And she still holds that title, and God knows what will happen next. I'm not someone into politics, so I won't get into that, let alone American politics. But I also kind of find her to be quite relatable as well. If you do know her story, where she's from, and just how she just, you know, even without Obama himself or Barack, how she's become a force on its own. And she's quite inspiring. I love how, you know, she really gets down with the girlies, you know, and she's herself. In various times, I do see her quite upbeat and just quite a positive person. Then on the other side, we got Megan. Megan is coming back to the UK. So this is what they're saying. And I don't even believe it. Like, I have to see them here before I have to see them here before I really can believe that. But either way, Megan is an example as well. And I say that because obviously she's pretty much she's a woman of color. although people argue, oh, she's not black. I mean, she's half, isn't she? You know, her mother is definitely black. I've seen her mother. We saw her at her wedding. So she takes on the identity. Well, at least I assume she does. Like she does call herself mixed race, perhaps. I don't know. But regardless of that, she's a woman who I would consider her to be a transgressive woman. If you have ever seen my lecture with Smith College is actually based in Massachusetts, Massachusetts. Massachusetts in United States, obviously. I did a lecture with them. I've done two of them so far, but the latest one that I did was part of a workshop called Aya. And Aya, oh God, let me get the meaning of Aya real quick because it's actually one of our Adinkra symbols um, in the Akan culture. Meaning of Aya in Adinkra symbol. It's quite symbolic for women as well. I wish I can get it up. So yeah, well, it means a powerful emblem of endurance, resourcefulness, hardiness, and defiance against adversity or oppression. Okay, so yeah, she is. Oh, sorry, I was talking about Megan, isn't it? Yes, she I did the workshop. Sorry, I got distracted. Oh, doing lives is not easy. I have to kind of ignore distractions sometimes. I did a workshop with Smith College. I spoke about the transgressive woman. A transgressive woman is the type of woman who beats all odds and goes for it anyway. However, she does receive a lot of persecution, scrutiny, judgment, and it can be quite difficult for her. And Megan is one of those. I would say all of these ladies are, especially the women of color, especially the women of color. And that goes to the last woman is obviously my queen. Okay, I'm a beehive. Anyone part of the beehive, leave a comment below. Beyonce, of course, is definitely an example of a a woman who's awakened. She does her, and she does her very well. And if you've ever been a follower of her, you will see her evolution. Her evolution is very, very inspiring. And I love how she's pretty much tapped into pretty much everything now. Like, what's next? What is act three? Because she has tapped into various different, sides of herself, identities, whether it's the culture of, the countryside of her, whether it's the culture of the uh the black side of her, the Creole, the R&B, and then the house. She's done everything. So yeah, a great example of that. So that being said, women are becoming bold, okay? Women are becoming bold. Women are speaking up. And it's interesting, for example, how I've been speaking up. This in a few years ago, the stuff that I've been revealing recently is something that I would have absolutely just hold to my chest and taken to my grave. Never spoken about that again. But and the reason why that is obviously fear and embarrassment, and just also this thing where we also just think that maybe people are not even going to believe us, or we're just chatting rubbish, and feeling that we'll be persecuted for that. But I have been on my own personal awakening and my own, spiritual and personal development that has pushed me to this state. I'm so fully focused and so fully into the empowerment of me as to why I was so bold to speak up. And this week as well, and I've just done that video that went live yesterday. I was speaking on Alicia Daniela, who also just spoke up as well of her domestic abuse. Women are speaking up. Okay, we're showing up and we're saying, "Nah, we're not having it." Okay. Um, in fact, I actually want to play you something because I've had some videos that are quite significant for that topic matter. Actually, so let's get that up. Bear with me, ladies. What? Listen, we're there. I prepared it. Okay. Okay, there it is. Hiding. Okay. So, What's the chat saying? What are you guys talking about? Okay, when they see Megan, they see a black woman, which is bizarre. Guys, we're going to get into this later because I just feel like, yes, we kind of have to hold Megan because nobody else is going to. That's the truth. The white people are not going to hold her. So we have to. And so, yeah, it's a lot. Your series gives me so much encouragement. Thank you so much. I'm going to get right into what I wanted to show you, though. It just adds into the theme of what we're discussing. Okay, so right, share screen, window. Why is it doing this? Oh my God. You know what? Live streaming is pretty technical. Thank you for your patience, people. Why is it going to a completely different screen? I don't want it to. I'm so sorry. It literally cut out. That is that. Oh my God. I'm going to calm down. Bring myself back. Add the screen. At this point, I'm going to just do the entire screen.
I get attached to people.
Can you guys hear that?
I believe.
No, the lives is very difficult. What is my thoughts on Candice Owen? Oh my God. You guys, we'll talk about it shortly. I don't know how I feel about that woman. I don't know because she's changed. She's changed her tone. And that is interesting to me. I guess people can change and all that jazz, isn't it? Anywho, I wanted to bring up this screen here, but for some, are you seeing it here? Are you seeing my screen? If you guys can just comment, are you seeing my actual screen, as in the share screen, that is? Yeah, that would be better so you can really see it. If you can see it, say, yeah, yeah. We can see the screen. Thank you.
Me, just know that I'm gonna leave.
I don't, wait, nah, because it's not coming up. I'm not a tech savvy person. This isn't even, but I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. I don't like the fact that this keeps on bouncing from left to right. That's not how it usually is. Usually the Windows allows you to get up another screen, and it's not doing that for me today. And it's irritating, and I want to cry. Okay. Anyway, you can see it. Yeah. Are we ready to go now, girlies? Anyway.
Me, just know that I'm gonna leave.
Let me know if you can hear it as well.
If you don't know anything about me, just know that I'm gonna leave. I will leave. I'm a serial leaver. I'll leave the city. I'll leave the state. I'll leave the country. I leave the house. I refuse to stay where I'm not valued. I refuse to stay when I have to convince someone of my value. I'll leave friendships, I'll leave relationships, I'll leave versions of myself that doesn't fit me anymore. It's like a little butterfly, right? When she grows bigger than the cocoon, she gotta go. She gotta leave. She gotta leave it behind. And I'm a Taurus. I love roots. I get attached to people. But I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave.
Okay, we get the point because I'm still a bit, disappointed of the technicalities we're having this evening. But let me tell you something. What she was saying is she will just leave. And I have gotten to that space now where it's like, you know what? I'm not going to argue. I don't care. I'm not going back and forth. If I say something and I can see energetically you're going to come with some type of force of negativity, I would shut it off and I would just walk away. That is growth. That is saying, you know what, I don't stomach anything anymore. And when I tell you a lot of women are doing this now to just gain their power, people are leaving relationships, even if it's hurting. When I tell you, madly in love, still want to go on, expecting or hoping for change, and nobody leaves. Oh, so I know, and the person doesn't want to change. What is next for you to do? You have to just go. And so yeah, I just wanted to show you that quickly. But anyway, just going through some of the other stuff. Women are making money. Okay, it's a very, very important thing. And one thing I'm going to say to the ladies, and I might do a separate video of this soon, get as rich as possible. Make money. Make money. Make money. I repeat, make money. Make money as a single woman, make money as a married woman, make money as a single mother, make money. Make money whilst you're studying at university, have something on the side. Make money. Because the reality is, because of so much change that has happened in the world, especially post pandemic, let's not forget what this pandemic did. Economically, globally, it affected everything. Men are actually finding it difficult to make money than they ever have before. Okay. Because this is a reset that's happened to the world globally. And if you're a woman that wants to depend on her mans and stuff, I don't know if I don't even know how to, I just wouldn't recommend it. I know there's a lot of ladies out there who perhaps have the vision of, oh, my husband's going to do it or my man is going to do it. You know, if you happen to have a provider, that's fantastic. But even with a provider, have your own stuff coming in. You don't know when things could change. If a man leaves you, you don't know if the you don't know if he's sticking around. You don't know if something happens, like even something really bad happens. Worst case scenario, he falls ill, passes away. So, what is your security for yourself? And I'm saying this because I've told you guys I'm at a space right now in my life where I'm building from scratch. It takes a lot to have to build from the actual very beginning. And, I wouldn't say I'm like deep into the foundations because I do have something to leverage from. Thankfully, the past 16 years hasn't been in vain. People still know me. And that is such a grateful thing for me to have, that people can see me on the street and say, hello, you're Chanel Boateng. Oh my gosh, you're that girl from online. So it's built something substantial that even with everything that I had to get let go. Hi, Nicole, welcome. Even with everything I had to let go of to start again, I had a foundation. And a lot of us have it. A lot of us, especially a lot of us, I'm assuming here are millennials. You know, you've had some type of skill, whether it's from your workplace, you've most likely studied something. There is something to work with. But trust me when I say that it's possible to rebuild. And I'm saying that with all the confidence now, but I tell you, when the beginning stages of having to rebuild, I was like, my God, how am I going to do it? So yes, I was saying, make money. Get money and make money for yourselves, women. That is what we have to be doing in this time. Businesses, side hustles, etc., etc. Use your talents. Can you braid? Braid people's hair? Can you do nails? Do people's nails? Do you know what? There's actually no excuse now with AI, with all the digital tools that are out there. Do you have a nice tone of voice? Do podcasts? Do voiceovers? Sell your talent. Make money and make sure you're not broke. Have money in your pocket. Anyway, let me move on. I'm going to do a whole video about that soon, so don't worry. Anyway, women are embracing and content with being alone. Being alone. You know that a lot of us are afraid to be alone. A lot of us are afraid to be by ourselves. And it's understandable why, because when you have someone to talk to, you have a companion, you have something that you can, have an interest with each other. That's absolutely amazing. However, there are going to be periods where you're going to be alone. I was actually watching on Instagram yesterday. I was actually going to share it in this live today. There was this woman. She said she is married, and her husband have chosen to have separate bedrooms. And traditionally, I think a lot of people will frown upon that. But I kind of just had to rub my chin real quick and said, let me just not quickly judge and understand where this has come from. She said it just feels like they've got their own spaces, and where they need to just get together is like going next door to his room is like going to his house, like go to her boyfriend's house, that kind of concept. And they still plan together, they're still building together, or they probably built, I'm not sure what the thing is. But at the end of the day, they've got their space. And when you're alone and you have your space, you're able to really be creative. If I was right now where I have to start from scratch, if I had a man in my face right now, I would be distracted. Facts. Okay? Because, and it's not even always the guy. I've got to admit as well, you want a little lovey-dovey, you want to get close, you want to talk, you want to this, that, and other. If I happen to have a man right now, which I am talking to someone, so hey, but I would be so okay with him being long distance, like I'm okay with it because he is long distance where I don't have to see his face every bloody day and wake up and see him there. In this current stage where I'm building, I just have not got time for that distraction. And so that is what my focus is now. It's focusing on me, and knowing that I'm not lonely. I'm just alone, and that's okay. So yes, women are no longer just tolerating and refuse to just survive. And I've spoken recently about survival. A lot of women are in survival mode. And I think this is what, if anything, what I'm advocating for the girlies is to work on a way of getting out of that cycle, that constant, like a guinea pig, just round and round. Is it a guinea pig or a hamster? A hamster. And, survival mode is something that, as human beings, we have to survive. That's everybody, no matter how set you are in life, it's a survival thing, isn't it, to stay alive. But I feel like there's levels to this as well. And when you're constantly living in a cycle where that's all it is, it just becomes mundane. You have a lack of motivation. You have a lack of creativity. You have a lack of just wanting to just move on to the next thing or other things. And I know a lot of women are waking up from the realization of that, because a lot of people don't realize that their cycle is actually so trapping. It becomes so normal. It becomes so normal to you. You're trapped there. When you wake up, you realize that this cycle that you keep living, that's not giving me fulfillment and peace and happiness, is something that you need to get out of. I was wondering, is there any other videos that I wanted to show you today, apart from the one I showed you of the beautiful lady? Let me know, comment as well. Let me know what you thought of that video that I just shared. It was just a nice video that I've saved because uh, you know, a lot of people don't want to leave situations. And I tell you what, it's good for you to come out of cycles or to come out of situations where it traps you. It's good for you. Right. So back to the stage. Okay. This woman, right. This woman is my auntie, my mummy, my friend, and my sister. Her name is Marvel Bush. Okay. She's an older lady who just gives advice to the younger ladies like us. Okay. And I just want you to hear her out. Oops, where's the sound?
Talking about this, but many women are exhausted because they've spent decades performing strength. They became the dependable one, the wise one, the strong one. But somewhere along the way, nobody noticed. Nobody noticed that they're tired. Strong women have needs too. Nobody is talking about this.
Let me see if she's got another video. She's got some.
Just a friendly reminder that boring indoor life you're living is saving you from a lot of trouble.
So that's her profile, you guys. If you want to follow her, I think I've got some more videos of her. Actually, I don't. There's so much videos. This woman has me crying sometimes, especially the video of, women are exhausted. This was actually quite recently when that video she put it up. And let me come back to the screen. Sorry. When she put up that video recently, I was crying. Like I was like, man, I have been tired. I need to rest. I've been running this machine by myself for so long. It's exhausting. And the thing is with me is I've chosen to do it in the most integral way. And this is why it feels so much more weighing. When you choose integrity, unfortunately, ladies, you are going to really feel it. But you need to understand the long-term reward of your integrity. I know there's a lot of people who cut corners. And I'll give you an example. I'm affiliated with a lot of Ghana. Okay, I do things back home in Ghana. When I first went to Ghana, and I mean, it's a system there, if you have to know people, I mean, worldwide, you kind of got to really network well. When I first came to Ghana started to observe the landscape, whether it was business, this, that, and the other, a lot of people immediately gravitated to me and took me on. And honestly, it's because I have a big platform. Ghanaians, we love to say, oh, why, yeah, dear, she's done well. Let me turn off the screen for a bit. Yeah, she's done well. And, congratulations to her. She's got a big following. And so she's successful. So it wasn't that difficult for big people. When I'm talking big people, I'm talking big people in the government, politicians, a lot of household names, brands, businesses, entrepreneurs. They really brought me in. But still, there's a level of having to still prove yourself. And there's also, and you hear it, a lot of people, if you want to grow, I mean, there's an easy route for women. There's an easy route. There is an easy route for women. Okay? And I'm just so proud of myself. I'm just so proud as in a person. I'm too proud. A little bit scared as well because I really don't want to be, subject to any exploitation. Obviously, I avoid that at all costs. And then I also I love a challenge. I do. I love a challenge. I want to see how much I can impact and work on whatever I need to work on, and see how far I can grow myself. And so my point from that is, oh God, I lost my train of thought for a second. Integrity. Having integrity is what has saved me, and it's what's going to save a lot of people in the long run, because at the end of the day, it has longevity. Going through the back route and doing all the extra stuff that you perhaps shouldn't be doing might just set you back somehow along the line. So yes, that route is exhausting. That's the point I wanted to come with. That route is exhausting. Women also, sorry, where am I? Shows. I've got some notes here because I didn't want to miss anything. Oh yeah, that's it. We're good. Can we move on now? Let me see what the comments are saying before I go on with other stuff. The most I've seen here at a time is 24. There's 24 people now. Welcome to everyone that has just popped in, okay? We are discussing this. All right, let me just bring up on the screen. We are discussing, oops, this. This. I'm every woman. We are discussing She's Wide Awake, because we want the girls to wake up if they haven't. But I'm saying that a lot of women are waking up, okay? And stepping into empowerment and truth by speaking out, by even, let's say, Ciara. So not Ciara. What is Diddy's ex-girlfriend called? Cassie. That woman has been through a lot, as we know. But she's another example of an awakened woman, because being able to get to the level of speaking out in the way that she did, or even being able to walk away from all of what she endured and start a new relationship and move on, honestly, and speak out in the way she did, it just goes to show a lot of women are getting bold. So that's what we're talking about today. And I feel that the awakening is something that a lot of us need. Sorry, that's a bit sidetracked here. I'm looking at your comments. Okay, so one of the other things I wanted to do today, okay, is I wanted to kind of go back to some of the Q&A questions I got recently. The one I filmed that has gone live on my channel is actually tailored towards, off of the back of my marriage, the divorce, domestic abuse and stuff. And so I was responding to a lot of the questions in the Q&A. But some questions I didn't get quite round to answering, which included me speaking about, or questions to do with well-being, and a few kind of faith, spiritual based questions as well. I get that quite a lot because I think people can really see that I'm really changing my mindset regarding that. And just, yeah, I guess the future of me as I really embrace this new awakenedness and my womanhood. So I want to get into some of those questions actually, because I think it's quite very interesting to answer. I got 3 here. Okay. I want to bring it up on the screen because it's quite a big one and I want you guys to read it with me. So that being said, remove from the studio. I will get used to this. I will. Is it this one? Mm-hmm. Okay. Right, guys. So as I said, I want to refer back to some of the questions that I didn't get round to properly answering or answering at all when I asked you guys for, questions and answered. This one says, "Hi, Chanel. I've been following you and have been a subscriber since 2014. That is a long time. It actually is crazy to think that I've been on the internet doing this for that long. I started in 2010, as in just Facebook, none of YouTube. So yeah, thank you. Anyway, let me carry on. And I genuinely loved watching your journey over the years. I wanted to ask you something, and I hope you don't mind me asking. Do you feel that everything you've experienced with the church and your former husband has had an impact on your faith or the way you view your relationship with God? Now, just to continue, because I actually did kind of respond to that in the main Q&A on my channel. But the next part of it is what caught my attention and I wanted to speak to you guys about today. Okay, so it goes, I asked because in one of your recent videos, you mentioned that the ancestors were on your side. It caught my attention because as someone who knows you to be a believer, I would have expected you to say Jesus or God rather than the ancestors. So let me finish it up and then I will respond to that. I'm not asking this to judge or criticize you at all. I'm genuinely curious because I've watched you for so many years and I'd really be interested to understand where you are in your faith journey right now. It's a beautiful comment, question. Let me just get back onto the screen real quick. Like properly. Oh, come on. Right. I want to really fully answer this question. Sometimes when you're asking sensitive questions like this, it's really important to kind of just be reasonable and understanding. I love the way she's phrased her question. This is somebody who's obviously been a true supporter for so long. And so I didn't want to ignore it, although I kind of brushed upon it in the last video. Let's talk about the ancestors thing real quick, because I definitely have I've pivoted away from what I have known my whole life when it comes to faith, belief, religion, etc. I have pivoted. This is a part of my awakening, or it was a part of my awakening. I consider myself in this state now to be fully awake. And I want to explicitly say that I'm awake. For a while I was in denial. I was like, oh, there's more to see. There's something else. No, I think it's evident through my experience, through what has been exposed to me, through my understanding, through my critical thinking, through with all of that, I can say I'm confidently awake now. So where do I stand with that? Well, I'll start with where it kind of stem from. I've been kind of going on this awakening journey for quite some time. This started when I was pregnant with when I just had my last born. So we're talking coming up to 9 years now. And usually when you're going through a spiritual awakening, you're kind of going to start seeing little signs here, there, and everywhere. It may start with numbers, or somebody tells you something, or something telepathically happening. It might feel supernatural, and for me it definitely was. But flash forward to past my divorce and going through all of that trauma and everything, I feel that when I was really trying to find myself after clearly understanding that Chanel Ambrose was dead, as harsh as that sound, I genuinely killed that woman. I killed her. Like, she's dead. As in, not to say, it sounds very harsh. I need to reel it back. Wow. Because obviously I'm the product of Chanel Boateng now, as you can see. But as in how I used to think, how I used to be, that person was totally different. I'm not even saying that she was wrong, but she's not me now at all. Completely different. Because it's very harsh to say, because at the end of the day, when someone dies, they have lived before. So Chanel Ambrose was a living person and she wasn't always wrong. She was okay. She was getting on. She was doing her. But something had to shift and something had to change. And this is what I'm saying. When I was embracing into my roots, my identity, my culture as a Ghanaian, specifically as a Ghanaian, and then discovering me becoming a queen mother, for example, and going towards that journey now, which was something completely unplanned. If it's according to me and how I want things or how I wanted things, that is a territory I was never going to touch. But when I started to understand that this is my purpose, my calling, and where I'm going to feel fulfillment, and the fact that I've had to literally start from scratch and come into peace with that and come into terms with it, as much as it was difficult to, I had to embrace it. I feel like that's the best way I could carry on living in this newer version of me. And so we talk of the ancestors. This is me who has just genuinely done a lot of research on my culture, on my identity, on my understanding of who am I, what are the tools that God has given me in this life to get me along. And my ancestors is definitely part of the tools that I believe that has come to me or was within my life to help me live my life course. Now, I know religion, especially Christianity, may not be accepting of the concept of ancestors. But when you think about it, what is an ancestor? An ancestor is somebody who is typically from your family or from your bloodline that has passed away. Okay. Um, I, for example, had twins, a twin pregnancy. They both lived. My daughter lived for like a few seconds, honestly, but she lived at least up to 60 seconds. She breathed and then she let go and she was in my hands. Although that they lived and died, even as quickly as they came and went, they are considered as an ancestor. Okay. My father's recently passed away. He's now an ancestor. And then, of course, there's ancestors that I've never met before, whether that be great, 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 great grandparents, etc. And discovering that I am also from royal lineage in the Ashanti region, that was even more interesting to me, of course, because I kind of had an inkling because I've, heard my mum and aunties talk about it, but they never took us there. So in the kind of quest to really understanding where I'm moving to, where I'm developing, how I'm growing, what is happening with me post my divorce, post the trauma, post the experiences that really moved and shaped me to opening my eyes, to understanding how delicate my life is. And really kind of feeling like I'm being given a second chance at life and wanting to get it right. Going to my culture, going as deep as literally to my grandmother's house in Kona, going and seeing where my ancestors are from, that was a very, very fulfilling experience. And so, where I started to kind of really understand spirituality and how it pertains to your ancestors being merely tools to support us supernaturally, whether it's like a guidance or something of that nature, it's been very endearing for me. It's really helped me to understand that, you know what? You see all of this that I was saying before about being alone? Yes, I've been alone. Okay, I'm going to just do this because I might get distracted. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I had to just take the comments away just in case. Being alone makes me understand that, yes, I have a greater power. The greater power is obviously God. I always will believe in God. I believe in the existence of God. But I also do believe as well that I have got guidance. Even Christians refer to angels as some type of guidance. There's supernatural beings because we're not just in this world ourselves. That's how I've come to understand. We're not here just by ourselves. I feel that as well, obviously, the faith does say that your ancestors are dead. And if you do kind of, if you acknowledge them in a way, it's kind of referring to, as if to say they're demonic or they're devilish. My dad is just dad. My dad is not a devil, okay? I know that. My babies that I had, they're not devils. So I wouldn't like to refer to my ancestors as something devilish or evil. And I do feel like religion has made us believe that. And I don't know if that's right. I have also been, of course, embracing, or I don't even want to say embracing, but I've been deconstructing Christianity, you guys, because the reality is Christianity is a European as in what we are studying, it is a European religion. There's different versions of Christianity. There's so much Catholicism, Greek Orthodox, what there's so many different denominations. There's so many branches that come out of this. But what I had been, I guess, studying, as in what I was really embracing during my marriage before, was obviously the Pentecostal movement. The Bible, the tongue speaking, the anointing, shaking, that is where I was. And I could speak in tongues, everything. I've been and I've seen and I understand all of that now. And I started to kind of really dissect a lot of, especially the Bible as it is, and the version that we study, which is the King James version. King James being an English king. King James, who potentially was a colonizer. Well, what am I saying? Potentially, he was. And really understanding, would he really be in favor for my salvation to that degree? Also looking at the fact that a lot has changed. A lot has changed. And so I haven't cancelled completely the Christian faith, but I'm definitely asking questions that I would never ask before because of fear. And so whilst I've obviously got to that stage and I'm doing that quite boldly. I've also taken it upon myself to embrace my culture. And if I'm being honest, I feel so much more at peace because I'm kind of more connected to my identity than I've ever felt in a while, you know? And I'm talking about internally. Ignore the external stuff right now, you guys. I'm talking about internally and how it's helped me heal with everything that I've been through. And I think as well, there's a misconception when it comes to ancestral kind of people, spiritual people who refer to their ancestors. I think there is a misconception that they are worshipped. No, I don't worship an ancestor. I acknowledge them. I honor them, and I'm thankful to them. You know, there's things that my dad did for me, for example, and my siblings, that I thank my dad. Thank you, daddy, for that. You know, that is kind of the same concept. If I manage to, you know, get some type of achievement, and in my prayers, I'm saying, you know what, dad, wish me well. You know, obviously he's dead and gone. Whether he hears me or not is not necessarily what I'm here for. I just know that if he was alive, he would wish me well. And I guess it's a matter of me feeling that although he's dead and gone, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. There was somebody who I knew when he was alive, and I knew him in the flesh. He was for me and he helped me. I'm just using my dad as an example, of course. We have various different, you know, family members that have passed on and stuff. But one thing I would say about ancestors is not every ancestor that you need to call upon, and I say call upon, please don't get scared. As in, it's not every ancestor that you necessarily need to perhaps acknowledge, because not every ancestor lived fruitful and good lives as well. My full trust, if I'm going to be completely honest and really just answer that, my full trust goes into the supreme God and the creator of heaven and earth. But how I'm connecting with God now is not through a book, with all due respect. It's not through a book. It's not through what somebody told me. I don't even need to go to my pastor. I can have that relationship internally and directly with my God. And ancestors are merely just kind of like a tool. If I can put it that way, I feel that they're a tool in this life, because ancestors, at least who have lived fulfilled lives, ancestors who wish the best for you, ancestors who guide you, you know, and yeah, that's where I come with that. Because the rest of the question, because I need to kind of refer back to it, because I do speak a lot. Do forgive me. Hope I answered the full extent of that. caught my attention because as someone who knows you, believer, I would bet you to say Jesus or God. Yeah, exactly that. I explained quite a lot of that, and I think I've answered it to the best of my ability. I'm not a know-it-all, okay, and there's perhaps more things that's going to be revealed to me as I continue growing and developing. Um, I also I how do I put this? Because I feel that I need to get an actual diagnosis or something. I don't even know. I've kind of got a bit of dyslexia as well. So I don't reading and processing is not as easy for me. It's never been diagnosed medically. I'm going to actually have a referral for that soon. But I kind of know and I've always known. And so my learning process, unfortunately, is going to be a little bit slower than somebody who can get it like that. You know, I can never really get it like that. So please just allow me to explore and find out things for myself. And I think the best teacher for me, has been my experiences. It's been my experiences. It's taught me the most of what I need to know. And so yes, that's that. I hope that question's answered. And how that ties into the theme of this video, literally, is just awakening. Women are awakening. I tell you, I'm not the only person who's had this awakened experience. Some of the ladies that I showed you on the screen before, okay? And let's talk about her real quick, actually. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Where did that come from? Add to the stage. We were looking at the people who are in my. Is it to the left? To you? I don't know. I've noticed a lot of celebrities don't really share their religious status. They don't. Like, I don't know what Adele's beliefs are. I'm not really sure of Michelle's. She's probably Christian. I'm not sure. I don't know Megan's either. I don't even know Beyonce. Like, we don't actually know. But one thing I can say about what I've studied when it comes to women who are in empowered states or really kind of at their full potential, thriving, making money, if you will, producing, and in their very heightened state in their life, a lot of them tends to be quite mysterious about it. Like, what is the secret? You never know. When I started to study and understand a lot of powerful women, like the women on the screen, okay, and hundreds more, I started to understand that a lot of them are, their awakening as well is something that it is supernatural and it's spiritual. I think I want to go right to Beyonce now because I think because I've studied her more than all these other women, for example, I know that she was a Christian. I think we all knew that. Remember the Destiny's Child albums? I think at the end of all of them, then they will sing a gospel song, and they will dedicate it to Miss Anne. Do you remember? A lot of people have referred to her to be a witch. Okay, I've seen that over the internet a lot. And the concept of witchcraft and witch and that I speak about that more broadly on my Patreon or my members only. I think it's something that I don't want to project on the main platform because it can get a bit technical and people have various opinions and stuff. But I don't want to refer to her as that, even if she calls herself that, or if what other people refer her to be. I feel that this is a woman who clearly embraced her awakeningness, if that's a word, but she is somebody who embraced and tapped into a layer of energy that if she subjected herself to the exposure of, I guess, the outward world, maybe, or what society deems as acceptable, what society, how do I explain this? I want to go back to the fact that this woman is quite mysterious in her supernatural movement and her supernatural engagement, if I should put it that way. And I believe embracing that is what has brought her to the level of what she is. Now, I'm not saying she's perfect. I'm sure she's made many mistakes. Absolutely. Who hasn't? But what I will definitely say is this is a woman who is at a heightened state in her life and in her career, because obviously it shows. Her fruits show. Whether you agree with how she got there or not, it's worked for her. And so therefore, I'm kind of connecting spirituality, or your spiritual nurturing your spirit, with awakening. This is the dots I've connected. And this is what I believe a lot of these women have done. Okay. Whether to you it's a good thing or not, I think you can't just get to heightened levels of that. Some of them could have even been Christians to get there, which is fantastic. Some of them could be Muslim. They may not be on the screen. I just feel like when you're able to deeply connect with where you're supposed to be and how it's meant to be for you on a supernatural and a spiritual level, you can thrive. And so this is why my platform welcomes everybody. If you want to steadfastly remain in your faith as a Christian, then definitely go for it. I would never hold anyone back or say that it's wrong. For me right now, I am deconstructing, as I explained. And that's been a very important process for me, because if I have doubts as a practicing Christian, okay, if I have internal doubts, and if I have a, fear, internal fear, or I'm anxious, internally anxious about the things that are blatant to me, that doesn't fit right or feel uncomfortable to me, then I am lowering my frequency and I'm lowering my vibration, which I know is very new age talk that we don't love, but I don't know what else to explain it as. It is lowering my ability to progress in life, which I don't want. So, whilst someone will preach to me, oh, Jesus is Lord, you have to accept him as your Lord and Savior, I'm like, I mean, I can, but I've got some questions now. I never asked before, but now I've got some questions. And if I continue having these questions internally, what do you think that's going to do for me? It's not really going to put me in a good state. And I can't force myself if I genuinely have those questions. I hope that makes sense. But either way, I do believe that Jesus came and walked on this earth with us and showed us miraculous things, honey. That I don't believe is a lie. But again, if you look into history, you will find there's quite a lot of there's a lot of people who've come to do that. Like that's just the truth. There's a lot of people that has come and shown examples and stuff, and of miracle workings and stuff. Not to put them above or beneath Jesus. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that it's happened. And yeah, that's what I want to say. Oh God. Right. What's the time? We're going up and down in the count. Are we getting 23? We're going up to 32. We're going to 17. It's quite late. It is quite late. But yes, what do we want to move on to? There are more questions that I wanted to pick up. Okay, so let me grab those. Okay, so this is kind of, again, on the churchy thing, but I'm going to move on to the next one. How do you remove this? Oh, Lord. I am still... Oh, there we go. Remove from studio. There we go. I will get into the questions in a minute, because I'm sure a lot of people are just... I'm kind of scared of what you are saying to me, because I've kind of turned away the comments. I've turned away the comments, so I just won't be distracted. But let me get back into them now. Okay. Right. It's interesting that the concept of ancestors ignored in Christianity, but there is the belief of angels in hell. So becoming an angel afterwards completely removes the person. There's a way. Aha, that's it. Oh, come on. Come on. You can see the comments. This is what I'm excited about, but it looks a little bit in it. You can see that. You can see it. Big, medium, small, wide, tall. You guys know I'm playing around with this. That's that. So I'm going to read it again. Kiara, thank you so much for that. It's interesting that the concept of ancestors ignored in Christianity, but there is the belief of angels in hell. So becoming an angel afterward completely removes the person from your line. So is that a question? So becoming an angel afterwards completely removes the person from your line. Is that a question? I don't know. I don't know if that's a question to me, but I guess maybe we're on the same page. Our ancestors are not demons. Okay. I just want to say that our ancestors not demons. And who told us that? You know, that video that was going around. It was aha, who's shaking Kwame? You're like, oh, okay, and yes, sure, caught. This is where I'm at now, because to say dear, Mako Ghana, and I've seen myself. I've really looked at myself. Sorry, I've seen the question. Obi is shaking their heads. SMH is shaking my head. I would not be subject to what people want me to be anymore in this life. And I'm very happy. Anyway, back to that. Back to this. I don't see, this is why I turn off the comments sometimes so that I can focus on talking. Our ancestors are not evil. Our ancestors are from our bloodline. There are ancestors that perhaps were not the best people. They were human beings. They lived lives just like us. They made failures like us. And our ancestors, according to what I know, I don't worship my ancestors. I just acknowledge them. The video that was going viral recently on Dr. Daft's channel, I actually did a video reaction to it on my Patreon. It was the one New Ager versus 20 Christians, for example, and that came up, the ancestors thing. And one of the ladies who was on the panel, she posted it on Instagram, like a snippet of her asking the question, and there was a huge row debate in the comment section, of course, between Christians and spiritualists, and everyone's going back and forth. And I asked one question, and you can't miss me. Okay, I got a blue tick. Okay, I got a blue tick. So you see when I'm asking a question. Most people, it usually goes to the top. That's how the algorithm works. Because she actually responded to me. And I said to her, okay, if ancestors are forbidden, can somebody please, or can you explain to me what? Actually, I didn't even start with if ancestors are forgiven or are forbidden. I actually just said to her, can you please share with me of your thoughts of what you think of the transfiguration of Christ? Now, if you don't know, the transfiguration of Christ is when Jesus went on the mountains and he was all in his light and glory, and he spoke to Moses and Elijah. I believe it was Moses and Elijah. Now, as we know, Moses and Elijah from the Old Testament, so they're dead. So Jesus being on the mountain speaking to these dead people, I wonder how all of a sudden we came from thinking that, all dead people are evil or ancestors are evil. Like, where did that come from? Well, when I asked her the question, she said, well, Jesus is God, so he is the only person kind of acknowledged, or he's the only person that can qualify to speak to the dead. That was her response. No lie. I've screenshot it. No lie. This was her response to me. That Jesus is because he's God. He's the only one that has the authorization to speak with the dead. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't even know how to respond to that because, it's not like I don't want to challenge you. I genuinely wanted to know the thoughts of this person or a lot of Christians. And I'm imagining maybe that's what a lot of people think. Kwame, I'm going to get back to your question. I've just seen it. What happened to the godliness and likeness of Christ? Okay, let me land. Let me not get distracted. Let me go back to this. So the transfiguration of Jesus Christ on the mountain, can't remember the mountain, is that encounter with dead people and encounter with the ancestors. And I believe at the event, like they gave him some type of guidance or encouragement that, you're a chosen one. And this is what I could be wrong. Okay. Someone get the scripture if you want. We can read it out and we just understand what that really meant. Because I would say that's an encounter with ancestors or with dead people, which we're forbidden to. Now, here's my thoughts as to why I believe that the whole ancestors thing was demonized eventually. I just feel that, the book that was created, the King James Version, it's not written by us, okay? It's written by them. It's written by our colonizers. It's written by um, our oppressors, okay? King James got 46 scholars to write that. And I don't think they were Black scholars. I really highly doubt it, actually. So he got 46 scholars to write that. And so I don't know how it's necessarily going to be all in favor of me. Not to, because there's some beautiful scriptures that even daily I'll be like, this is it's a scripture that I can resonate with, I can relate to. But it kind of can restrict people of color. That's just in my deconstruction. That's obviously what I've come to understand. But I'm still deconstructing, and I could be wrong. Who knows? But anyway, what was my point from that? Let me get back to this. Yeah. There's a belief that hate angels and hell, so becoming an angel afterwards completely removes the person from your line. I kind of still don't understand if that's a question or not, but it's neither here or there. At the end of the day, and this goes to Kwame, we are talking about women. So hello, Kwame, welcome. This is about the awakening of women and how I guess it connects to spirituality based on a lot of the questions I've gotten, because my awakening journey is definitely spiritual. Sorry. I just realized, sorry, give me a sec, guys. My awakening is definitely a spiritual thing for me. And I'm kind of really just bringing it to the girlies this evening. They don't have to do my spiritual practices. It's something that I've decided to do because it's what I'm supposed to be doing in this present time. So, to Kwame, what happened to the godliness and likeness of Christ? Well, let me tell you something. First of all, I don't know it all. Okay, I'm working according to my journey. Some people are inspired about that. People want to know how I healed. People want to know how I'm getting through my trauma. This has helped me knowing my roots and that. And I don't know, Kwame, whether you are British born to Semit. I was born here, and I also was brought up in a Catholic church. I went, Catholic schools, primary and secondary school. So when it comes to my actual roots of being an Akan, it's something that I really didn't know as deep. I think it's not like my parents kept us away from it, because every summer we would go to Ghana for holidays. I was brought up on Ghanaian music, Ghanaian food. I was brought up like that. But in terms of really learning deeper stuff about culture and religion, this is something I've had to do in my adult years, which is now. And so really kind of even understanding, the different spiritual systems in Africa. For example, I was just speaking about Beyonce. I believe she connected with the Orishas and stuff like that. A lot of people are into the Orishas. I looked at that as well, just because I kind of was curious, and I realized it's not actually tied to me. I'm an Akan, and as an Akan, there is a spiritual system as well that is helping me along my journey. And I'm very much no longer in fear to connecting with that. So when we're talking about what happened to the godliness and likeness of Christ, Christ is, he definitely is an example of living a moral, respectful, and loving life, I would say. Absolutely. So you can be godly in that respect. You can have a Christ-like character in that respect. But the reality is, not everybody wants to worship him in the way that we have always been taught to worship him or else, worship him or this, worship him or that. I hope you're getting where I'm coming from. So yeah. Okay. There's an advert going. Let me turn it off because it's distracting. Christ-like character is a good thing to have. Because he was good. Christ was good. But do you need to worship him? That's the difference now. This is what I'm deconstructing, so to speak. Yeah. I think I'm going to stop there because, as I said, I'm sorry, I'm not the most intellectual, clever person out there. I'm me, I'm me, and I'm not the smartest person in the room. I'll say that. Yes, when you sit in your shit, hey Jenny, when you sit in your shit and be comfortable with it, things open up for you emotionally. You start to see things in a different light, and God shows you things in a different way. Absolutely, agreed. Yeah, true. And, in your own way, you're going to discover things. What I know the difference between when I was obviously a devout Christian to now is I do feel a lot more free in my thinking. I don't feel restricted to feeling a bit anxious and fearful as I used to. I'm a lot more free flowing and I'm not more open to listen to others. Whereas before it was like Jesus or nothing. Maybe I wasn't operating Christianity as probably that wasn't the best or ideal way. Perhaps one may say that. But that's what I learned and that's what I was doing. And I kind of realized it was more damaging to me than edifying. And again, sitting in my shit and realizing that, you know what, I really want to expand my spirit man beyond what I've been accustomed to know all my life. So it's going to help me if I start to be more of a free thinker, a critical thinker, and think outside the box as opposed to in the box, which I was told that this is how it should be. And the Bible says this and the Bible says that. The same Bible that is written by an English king who probably didn't care for me and my tum and I don't know. So it makes you just and ah, And the thing is with me is I don't fit in. I've never been that type of person. In fact, I remember when I was kind of really establishing myself on the internet, okay? And oftentimes, not often, but here and there, you will know, especially after people got to know I was married to a man of God and stuff, and I was quite churchy. I remember a lot of people would say, Chanel, speak about God. Chanel, speak about religion, or not even religion, but Christianity. What is your faith? I could see that other Christians were wanting me to be in the box. And I'm like, I've got makeup to show you. I've got hair and cute outfits. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is what I've come here on the internet to do. Okay, right. If you now start saying, speak about Christianity, then you're actually restricting me. Because you just never know why God put me here. God may have put me here to show you girls that as a fat woman, you can dress nicely. And that's exactly what I came to do in that version of myself. So that being said, I was being put in the box by other Christians. And I really didn't like that because there was so much creativity within me that I knew that I needed to put out so that people will be captivated. And it did win over 500,000 subscribers or, followers worldwide. It was a win, and then I made, quite a good living out of it. That was a good run, but that was the old run. That's something that I would definitely love to, that's, yeah, I'm just going to leave it as that. Okay. Some other questions. There is one other questions coming, but I'm seeing some other stuff's coming here. I understand, but Beyonce, Meghan Markle wouldn't be people I would ask up women to look up to. If anything, your own journey is more inspiring. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Kwame. I mean, it's subject to you. I look up to I wouldn't even say I look up to Beyonce and Meghan Markle. I just applaud them. Just like you're inspired by my journey. At the end of the day, I'm not perfect either. So you don't have to look up to me. I may not be an example for you. Other people may see me as an example. Beyonce is an example, but do I look up to her like she's no? I just see her as a very good example of someone who has done something and has and it's worked, and it stays there. And that's that. Yeah. I don't like the super strictness of religions. Why don't they want free thinkers? Well, I guess this is why I'm here right now, deconstructing. The other question is, or the other comment, life teaches you a lot. I think it's meant to say life. Life teaches you a lot, and there will come a day where you find your own truth. I guess so. I hope we're all on the same page, and I'm happy that we're having this very open and bold and honest conversation, you know. But at the end of the day, this is really back to awakening of women. Women are awakening in so many ways. So the one last, it's not necessarily last, but let me close this for a sec so I can see what I'm reading. Big up, big up, big up. Oh, okay. So the first question of the first part of this loads of question has been answered. The next part is, how has your experience of the world been since losing weight? Not how friends, families, or followers have treated you, but how strangers, the general public, have treated you. Now, I wanted to really answer that question as well, because where we talk about how it pertains to my awakening as well, since we're on the topic, my weight loss was a huge part to my awakening. I feel like, for the most part, being that bigger version of me suppressed a lot of things internally. So when I lost weight, it's like I was shedding in so many various forms. I was shedding weight. I was shedding, you know, all of the other things that were on my shoulders, like whether it's financial stress, emotional stress, etc. I was becoming lighter. So once I became lighter, then I guess it is, you want to understand like what other people perceive you to be. And I would say I've had various different forms of reactions from strangers. And when we talk about strangers, what do you mean strangers? You know, like strangers who can actually speak to me, or somebody who's literally walked down the street. If you just walk down the street, you just see a woman, you don't know whether it's been big or not. But I would refer to this perhaps as the general public and just, I guess, followers or people on the internet. I've had a bit of both. I've had people not really happy to accept me to move on to this new estate. And then I've had people also be like, you know what, good on you. And I'm inspired and I want to follow along to see how you're getting on. It's really kind of difficult to say this is what it's been, because it's just been various reactions. Yeah, I would say that. Next question is, how do you rebuild your discernment and trust in your instincts after going through such an intense and traumatic experience? Again, we are talking about the awakening woman. If I'm being honest, discernment has come so much more clear to me because I feel like I'm carrying less now. I've now understood that I actually don't need to carry all. And that has given me so much peace. I don't need to carry much fear. I don't need to carry much anxiety. These were all the things. Oh, where's the charger? Sorry. These are all the things that I guess I had been carrying for a while, that had weighed me down, and I couldn't have discernment. Trusting my instincts was very, very difficult. For example, we were talking about spirituality, faith, Christianity. I had to really beat past the fear and the anxiety of, what if I go to hell? What if Christians judge me? What if I get criticized? What if something goes wrong? all of those fears and anxieties was more heightened in my life when I was really studying religion and in it, and the faith. Okay. I'm just being honest. That's just my experience. Um, and so letting go of all of that, or letting go of the weight, has really helped me to process past all of the trauma. I think if I was still a bigger person, like right now, and this is just me, if I was still a bigger person right now, I don't think I wouldn't have seen as much as I'm able to see now. I see everything now. Or at least one thing about me is I know I have a spiritual gift. Parts of my spiritual gift is wisdom. Parts of my spiritual gift is just seeing. I see. I see things that is not in the physical. I experience things that are not in the physical. You'd be so surprised. Sometimes I'm like, my God, why did I have to see that? I can't unsee it, but I've seen it. And seeing it means that I have to kind of make a judgment and react to it. And a lot of my experiences, if I had those whilst I was a bigger person, I don't know how I would have been able to handle it. So, yes, I hope that answers the question. Moving on, would you give us some more story times in the future of Chanel? Absolutely. Of course, I'm going to. Sorry to screech right there. I'm just a little extra sometimes. Yes, I will be definitely doing some more story times. You guys, I have lived a life. I've lived a life, you guys. I've lived. I really have. And I've seen a lot and I've been through a lot. And so I think I would definitely share more along the way. And she goes on to say, as a 20-something who is plus size and on a weight loss journey, I really appreciate your sharing your stories. It's helped me to open my eyes and navigate and escape certain harmful relationships. Thank you. Oh, God bless you. And thank you so much for your questions. And honestly, this is a beautiful time for you. 20-something is a great time to experiment, to get creative, to be free, to be happy. Ask questions, because you know what? We millennials weren't taught to ask questions. We was learned and taught to shut up and take it as it is. You are at a very, very good space now. This Gen Z generation, this is why they are so damn ruthless. They are asking questions we wouldn't dare to ask. If you want to know something, you ask, okay? Don't feel like you have to be trapped and not say anything out of fear. Fear, if we're talking about devils and stuff, what is an ancestor and a this and a that and a witchcraft? One, you know what true witchcraft is? Being fearful, okay? Is limiting yourself. That is what is evil. That is what is the devil, limiting yourself. Because God put you here for you to fulfill something. And if anything, what Jesus came to teach people, okay, is you've got to live in that purpose. That is what the teaching is about. Where it came to what it is now, where it's become so religious and so, so rigid and restricted, is something that man has done. That is the truth. To the point where we've literally undermined and diminished our cultures and identities. I'm not here for it. And no one can tell me anything anymore. But one thing is, I don't argue much. I just say, okay. I even might just agree with you just to done the argument. To go back and forth is so long to me now. Wow, I just can't. So yeah. Happy 20-something. Why can't you just say what age you was? Because you could be your early or late or mid, who knows? But it's a good age to learn new things as well. We didn't have all of this as millennials growing up. So having access to learn is going to be a great thing. Knowledge is power. Anyway, what else was I going to show you today? Because I know that is not it. Okay. Is there any other thing I wanted to show you today on my computer? Bear with me. Oh, this was a nice thing. I just want to show you some interesting stuff that I watch on the interwebs. Okay. So let me go back to the stream. Let me remove and let me re-add. Nope. Remove again. Okay. Hope you can see my screen, guys. This is obviously, now we know there's a male in the room. This was for the girlies. But you can listen, Kwame, if you're still here. Oh, where's the sound? Sorry. This is another thing. This is so fiddly, honestly. Good Lord.
Girlfriend again in this lifetime.
Oh.
I healed to get myself ready, but somehow.
And do it again. Next time I will take away the links. Because it's like you can't.
I don't know if I'll ever be a wife or even a girlfriend again in this lifetime. I healed to get myself ready, but somehow.
I know you can hear that. You can't see it. Can you see it? You can't see it. Hey, yes, more. I'm so sorry, you lot. Let me go back.
Every time I've tried, I realize my piece is too expensive, and if they knew what it cost to become this. If I'll ever be a wife or even a girlfriend again.
I wish, the thing is with Instagram.
I don't know if I'll ever be a wife or even a girlfriend again in this lifetime. I healed to get myself ready, but somehow I just can't see it anymore. Every time I've tried, I realize my piece is too expensive, and if they knew what it cost to become this version of me, the first date wouldn't even happen because they wouldn't even attempt.
Is that it? Did you even see that? There's something wrong with my screen, so I can't see what you guys can see. Help me out, peoples. Yes, you did get to see it, and I hope you heard it as well. Whew, it's exhausting. Right. What the lady was saying is she doesn't know if she could be a wife or a girlfriend again in this lifetime. Now, I want to talk about that real quick because, as you guys know, I have been a wife before. And quite often I do get the question, Chanel, would you marry again? After, especially what you've been through, your experiences, how you understand men to be now, would you marry again? Very good question. One of the things that she said as well is her piece is so expensive. That was just profound. That was bars, man. Her piece is so expensive. And this is the thing now. I've become so selfish now. I have become so selfish now because I have created a safe space for myself. I don't have much to, there's not much for me to manage, which is good because it's something I can manage. I can't manage too much of a huge capacity anymore, not in these rebuilding phases. And so to welcome in another energy, I kind of said that before, another person to take part of my life is something that I really need to think about. Saying that, obviously I made examples of, a lot of women who, or not necessarily examples, but a lot of women are at an awakened state to the point where they are getting so comfortable with being themselves. They are finding, they're finding joy and excitement through their own company, or even that of very good friends, good company, good friends, people who mean well for you, people who make you feel good. To get in relationships with men who are not, and I won't say all because but it's a risk. Putting yourself on the dating market is a risk. Getting into relationships is a risk. Marriage is a risk from the peace that I've built. My goodness. From the peace and the haven that I've built of just peace. And I have to let go of that to welcome somebody else's energy into into this space. My goodness. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It will take a certain type of person, perhaps, and it will take a certain type of space for me to be in my life, for me to say, ah, I'm ready for this. You know, because one of the things about women is we were taught that if you don't become a wife, that you are limited in this life. But in this time of the awakened woman, we have proven everything against that, because there's a lot of women who are fulfilling their purpose, hitting their goals, growing, becoming amazing women, amazing role models that did not need a man around. And so it goes to show that we can do it on our own. I say all of that to say. So what is the need for that? I'm making my own money. You know, I'm so sorry. I have too much of a growing mindset to be like, like I definitely won't have a broke guy if I'm gonna get with, if I'm gonna get into a relationship again. Like, he cannot be broke at all. Like, you've got to be on it. And I would say I'm not even looking for a man who is now building from scratch. I want to see a man at his fully fulfilled state to at least a good percentage for me to say I feel comfortable and safe with this geezer. All right. Do you know what I mean? And so no brokies. Exactly. No, if I'm going, you ain't broke. No, I have my own money. What do I? No, you can't be broke. If we're going there, you've got to have money, because I'm not spending my money on us. You are spending out your money on us. Yes, that is my standard. And that's that on that. And as a man, you're not going to feel broken or set back from that, or thinking that, no brokies. Here we go again. No brokies. No. Real men they don't even care. Like, I saw a podcast the other day, and I think someone was asking a man, he was like, what do you think about women who just want you for their money? He was like, I want a woman to want me for my money. Now, hopefully he's not like a controlling type of guy, because you just never know who he is. But it makes sense. Like, a lot of real men want to feel like they love the thrill and the challenge of, my girl's being taken care of. If it ain't that, then it's nothing. I will go alone till my grave. What do you mean? I'm not having a brokey in my life. Okay? Never a brokey. Now, the other question is, would I ever be a sugar mama? I'm hot. I'm going to put my fan on real quick. I'm so sorry. There's going to be a bit of noise. But can you see the sweat? It's hot. The other question is, am I going to be a sugar mama? Because a sugar mama doesn't need to have any strings attached. Hey, honey pepper. A sugar mama may not need to have any strings attached, if you know what I mean. She just might be fulfilled in other areas by a younger gentleman who just wants to fan her and feed her grapes. Just don't fall in love. I'm joking. Yeah. So there's that option and all, There's that option and all. That's all I'm saying. Okay. What else was I going to discuss today? Are we rounding up? I was wondering if there's any other stuff. Let me get my charger for the laptop. because, and I hope that it doesn't disconnect the thingy majiggy when I plug it in. It tends to do that, but we do need a bit of a charge. Don't. Yay! I was scared it was going to lock off because sometimes it does that. Right. Is there anything else I wanted you to watch? No. Right. Okay.
I don't know if I'll ever be.
We watched that, didn't we? And we saw our auntie. This is very important. Wait.
Still wondering if they can afford one day off. And
I hate the fact that I can't play this from the beginning, like via Instagram. Like, why?
Faithful.
I'm going to just refresh the page.
And don't need more healing.
See what I mean?
Spiritual women don't need more healing. They need to make money. I said it because I've met so many women who would meditate, journal, read every single manifestational book there is on the shelf. They have done years of inner work, but they still cannot afford to buy what they want. They're still waiting on a payday, still wondering if they can afford one day off. And that's because being faithful and spiritual doesn't mean you can just sit back and watch. You know, you can sit in a circle and cry for the 10th time. You can burn the sage, pull the tarot card, write another letter to your inner self, and still go home to the same bank account. Because healing was never the missing piece. A skill was. You need something to change all of that awareness into an income. Spirituality is not supposed to make you feel better. It's supposed to give you an advantage, to buy you freedom. Freedom to say no to the job you don't want to do. Freedom to say yes to the holiday that you want to take. So the next time you book a retreat, ask yourself, is it actually going to pay for the life that you keep seeing in your meditation? Because the woman on the other side of the vision board already have a way to fund it. Spiritual.
Okay, let me switch back to us. So this is kind of, what I was touching upon earlier of just needing money. Okay. That goes to all of us, whatever faith you are in, Christianity, spirituality, African something, Buddhism, Muslim, like as a woman, you need money. I don't want to have to rely on a man. I don't want to have to rely on a man, but if I have a man, he must not be broke. Because you got to bring him the bread for us, not in the sugar, like a gold digger way, but in a way where it just brings the peace in our relationship, knowing that we are not at a deficit, that we're not limited, because I feel like financial issues brings problems in relationships and we just can't. What the heck? The battery died. Yes, we just can't, we can't have that. On the front of the sugar mama thing, that's because I was saying that as a joke. Please, God, they will now come and plaster my face and say, hey, Chanel says she's a sugar mama. It's a joke. And then apart from that, if that became an option, it's for fun. And I again, the thing is with me is I'm not that type of girl, but you just never know when you get to a certain space in your life where you're like, F it. I'm gonna just do this right now because I want to have a bit of fun. And there's a lot of women out there as well. I'm not here to judge. Do you and have your fun, okay? At the end of the day, as long as it's not taken so serious to the point where it has you pulling out your hair. This is what I'm trying to avoid. We get into serious things where we take it so serious to the point where we struggle to maintain what we require to make it a happy and exciting and thrilling relationship. And I think that gone are those days where it has to be like that, I hope this can be round up in 10 minutes, you guys. Is there anything else I wanted to show you? Let me go back to this. Oh, these are important. I want to speak about the future of women. Just to round up, I don't know how long it's going to be. Let me switch back to this. Pause. Right. Okay, so let's watch this.
I was a little bit nervous, but
Oh, come on. It just don't stop. Oh, it's my son. Babe, you need to go to bed, you know. All right, no, don't come in. I'm still on live, babe.
I was a little bit nervous, but I gathered some courage to move it.
Did you know that you'll become Queen Mother someday?
Yes, I have been told before, and my mother was always treating me as such.
How do you plan to use your new position to help?
I won't show all of this. I'm going to make you watch other few things, and then we can talk about this. I wanted to share you this. I'm going to do a whole series on Ya Asantewa. She was the Ashanti Queen Mother of Ijisu, which is a town in the Ashanti region. She led the rebellion against the British Empire for the fight of the Golden Stool. So she is a queen mother like myself, but a much higher ranking queen mother. I'm a baby queen mother, you know. I'm a baby girl on a baby stool. Still very significant and powerful either way, but you know, she actually was held in Elmina Castle before taken to Seychelles with Nana Prempeh I, who's my great grandfather. I'm from his lineage, his royal lineage. I'm showing you that. Plus, this woman, a statue of L'Amolatrice Solitude, who in 1802 helped led a slave revolt while 8 months pregnant in Guadeloupe. She became a martyr and symbol for all women and mothers who, against all odds, defended the ideals of freedom and equality. And this is another, I'm going to show you this in a moment, but back to this. First of all, I want to talk about this young girl that they have put on the stool. You know, immediately people, especially other cultures, would frown upon that. Okay. They will be like, how dare you? This documentary, I haven't been able to watch it to the fullest, but I'm going to at some point. But the snippets that I saw, the girl goes to school. She's in a good school. If you hear how she speaks English, children in Ghana, okay, it's I mean, actually they do try, you know, the children in Ghana try with their English, but her English is pretty good. Okay, for someone who is living and brought up in a traditional village back home. So she does go to school. She has a normal routine as children would, but she also has a position as a queen mother. Now, the thing is, when a spirit picks you to be a queen mother, that is you. Okay, I was picked to be a queen mother. The spirit picked me to be a queen mother. And for the most part, at the end of the day, when you have to fulfill your calling, no matter the age, you have spiritual maturity. When you hear this young lady speak, she sounds so wise. And it only goes to show that, you know, it's not for, it's for a reason. She clearly has, she has the power to lead. She has the power to build. Clearly, there's something that the elders have seen, her ancestors have seen, that made her become in this position. This is very recent that they've installed her. And I'm saying that because I want to talk about the future of women and what that looks like, especially according to the Akan, or, you know, the Akan tradition. You're going to see a lot of younger people like me become queen mother, like her become queen mother. Queen mothers are usually awarded to people who are elder, women who are elder, But we're in modern times now. We're in such different times now where the goal really is to really empower and build and develop our communities. Us younger people who are, I guess, our education level is a lot different. So, for example, there's a queen mother above me, two queen mothers above me. So there's Chanel Boateng. She's also a queen mother from literally my house, and I'm sat on her stool. And there's one above her as well, which is the main town. And with these queen mothers, they actually can't speak English, which isn't a bad thing because I think it's probably better to be able to speak your mother tongue. But I guess with me and this young lady and other queen mothers who are younger and can speak English is we have access. We have access to the Western world. I know I obviously do. She may not, but I have access to the Western world. I have access to resources. I have access to things to bring back to my community to build. So what is the future of women, especially traditional women like myself? This is something to look at for. And that young girl is definitely an example of that. I want to go to some other things as well. What else did I show you? Yes, I showed you Ya Asantewa and this other lady, La Malautrice Solitude, the pregnant woman who led a slave rebellion. Is it slave rebellion? Slave revolt, they said. Now, the thing is, I feel that because of religion, I'm just going to put it right there, because of religion and because of a lot of, these the control and everything that the colonizers brought over to the lands of Africa, a lot of these powerful figures, a lot of these powerful female figures have been forgotten and rarely acknowledged. And I feel like they can be used as an example for us to really expand on these current present times of the awakening of women. Take, for example, Ya Santewa, a transgressive woman, okay, a woman who didn't care a bit and came against all odds. I'm losing for a few viewers, and I understand it's getting a bit late. I want to go as well. Against all odds, okay, she led a rebellion against the British Empire. A lot of women would be afraid to do such a thing. But we are in current times now where we no longer need to be bound by their rule. We have so much power ourselves in this present time. And with that, we've got to be thinking like these women in those days, leading wars, okay, leading slave revolts and stuff like, those women who was in positions that they even were limited with power and resources because of the times that they were in, and even perhaps not being as educated, etc. So how much now in this present time, because of the time being limited, there's one last thing I wanted to show you before we close up. And I'm thinking, do we have the time? Yes. Oh my God. Nah, we need to talk about this. This man is a joke. And I really need you to see this. Okay, so if you can see my screen says, "No, you can't marry me when I grow up." And I'm going to show you where that comes from. Oh, let's read this. Ghana has a huge pedophilia problem that needs to be addressed in the harshest terms and with punishment. We need to stop normalizing abuse under the false pretense of culture. You and whose culture, not Ghana. And this lovely lady, Abna.
So, she's my wife.
Look.
What's your name?
Let's watch this video. We'll talk after.
What's your name? Huh? Okay. You're very beautiful. When you grow up, I'll marry you. So, she's my wife.
So if you're not Ghanaian, that is a Ghanaian member of parliament. So in America, we would say that's a representative of a constituency. He went to a school for academic tour, and that's what he decided to tell a 9-year-old. And a lot of Ghanaians, most of the comments I've heard it was a joke. It's not a joke. What he
It's not a joke.
Is called pedophilic disorder. Of all the things he could have said, he chose to talk about marriage to a child, a 9-year-old. If you're able to talk to a prepubescent child about marriage instead of telling her about her education, because you look like you came from a poor family, you're not that. How did you get to Paris? What school did you go to? What are your aspirations? What motivates you? Those are the things you should have poured into their brain. Prepubescent child, their brain is not fully developed, and their brain is like a foamy sponge. It absorbs pure water, dirty water, polluted water, disgusting water. So why did you decide to soak in her brain marriage? So now her goal in life would be, I want to make sure I grow up so I can marry a member of parliament. By the time that child is old enough to be married, you'll be in your 80s. What is wrong with you? At that particular moment, why is it that that's what came into your brain? Na me mrashe bedroom tinesifo aba me mpesuaso. Na se wo se wo kwa akorabo a ensem we na me pese okache me ba. And see, if Victoria, whatever your name is, you decide that you don't see anything wrong with what he said, you're very stupid. And if you have children, you do not deserve to be called a mother. Of all the things he could have poured into that child's brain, and that wasn't the only child he was addressing. All the children that were there, he addressed them. Okay. Former deputy minister.
It's quite a long one. I love Abena Kwabua. She's amazing. She does a lot of interesting story times and stuff, her own personal journey on her platform, okay, on Instagram. Now, I wanted to round up with this. As I said, we're talking about the future of women as the awakening continues to unfold. I said that a lot of young women are going to be taking a lot of leadership positions. Okay, they have the access and they have the knowledge because of the current times we're in. Okay, we're living in the internet times. We've got AI, all sorts. There's going to be so much ways for young women to really develop and become very powerful leaders and do wonderful things in our communities and in this world, essentially. The last thing is obviously, no, you can't marry me. Okay, and Abena's video was her basically just clapping back at the MP who's maybe in his 30s, 40s, who said, "You're beautiful. When you grow, I'll marry you." Now, this is not the first time that I've heard this. In fact, I, as a child, remember certain of my dad's friends that used to say that to me. And it was a joke. Everyone laughed along. You know, it was part of the culture, which really this is what has brought on all of this pedophilia. I can't even say these words on this platform. This is what's made a lot of older men and women be so comfortable with violating young women. And also, even if it's not immediate access and literally doing an evil act against them, we're talking about what that does to a young woman, because you're just gearing her up for marriage, which is what they've done all this time. This marriage that has made... Yo, it's been 2 hours I've been talking and I've got 2 more videos to film. But maybe I'll just let you sit with that. But my point is, what we really should be fueling into young women is matters to do with their education. Okay? Getting them prepared for the work life, for business. She's in Ghana. Maybe she would like to travel. Why are we not influencing younger people who are impressionable at this stage to aspire to do greater things for their life in the future? But here you are, I'm going to marry you. And so now immediately, this young girl is thinking to herself, well, that's the aspiration, marriage. And, you know, again, this kind of bounce back, it's not just, you know, religious, it's political as well, you know, but I would say this goes back to marriage as well, because one of these things is they want to marry off young people. They've always wanted, in order to gain access to young women, you must become our wives. These are a lot of things as well. Again, I believe that religion has created. And so it's really opened doors for a lot of abuse. Because a lot of women just think that the next, or young girls, they think that fulfillment is marriage, being married to a man who hasn't even been trained to be a good husband. So you end up in the hands of somebody who is absolutely useless. At a young age, this is what is being pumped into their minds by our elders. We're changing that narrative now. In these current times, we're changing that. Because a young woman has everything possible to be in something greater than just a wife. Not saying being a wife or aspiring to be that should be completely off the table. One thing I am noticing as well is young people are becoming so much smart now. They're now no longer just, teenage pregnancy rates have come down. Wow. Like millennials, we really did that. Actually, a lot of us, I think the age started to decrease the older the generations got. But even if you look at that started to decrease over time. Now, young people are studying, becoming business people. They want to be something better other than like a teen mum or something like that, or a wife. There's nothing wrong with those things. But there's a time for that. What we need to be teaching young women is preparing them for the right time for that. But the focus really needs to be on what is going to make you a great woman, so you attract the right partner that you can live and build a beautiful life with. Not some crusty fuddy-duddy that wants to take advantage of you because you're young and beautiful. That's what he said, literally like that as well. Anywho's, my lovelies, I think I want to close up now because it's been a lot. There was something else on the cards. I've had so much technical issues. Otherwise, I'm sure it would have all fit in. I wanted to show you, but I'm going to speak on my Patreon about it. So all my members, I wanted to kind of show you guys something really interesting that has been going viral recently of the Roman Catholic Church and the skull and the whole ritual that they've done with Agatha or something, Princess, was it Saint Agatha? That whole thing. I wanted to discuss that today, but I think we've run out of time. I'm going to try and do lives like this every Saturday night. And then I'm also going to try and do like a midweek live during the day. I'm still going to play around and advance myself in this. So I'm going to close up and just, of course, end the stream because it has been a very, very lovely time this evening. I hope you guys are excited for what's to come on my channel. I'm definitely in the swing of really becoming more present, as I said. And there's so much more to talk about. We're going to get deep. Okay. So thank you so much for coming, you guys. I love you all. Good night. Good night. Good night.